Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20, and welcome to episode 71 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series. Today, I'd like to have a little bit of fun playing with some of the stuff that we got last episode. So last episode, we killed the Gaia Guardian, right? Oh yeah, I don't want to put those in there. I want to put those in here. Yeah, and then put those in there. Yeah, derp. So last episode, we totally killed the Gaia Guardian. We killed her twice, but only one time did she drop anything. Let's just refresh our memory on how these mana spreaders work. I'm considering killing her again, by the way. So this is a potency velocity mana spreader, right? So right now, this thing is not keeping up with emptying this pool from the mana spreading that's going on over there. So what I'm going to do is upgrade this dude to the Gaia mana spreader. Wah wah. And that should, in theory, send much larger bursts of mana. And I kind of want to see, like, how much larger, because I'm not 100% sure how much more this will do. But I think it's actually quite a bit of mana can be transferred. I think the Gaia mana spreader is actually quite a bit faster, which is cool. So the refresh on how this works, right? We've got food getting fed into the Gormaleuses. Cool. And then mana spreading their way over there, doing this thing. And to be fair, the Gormaleuses don't produce that much food anymore as a result of the fact that baked ham kind of stinks now. But we could switch this up with a bacon cheeseburger. That wouldn't be too bad. Which part of this needs to be told that there's baked ham? I think just you do? I think everything else is just reading quantities of items, right? Because it's like inventory empty? Yeah. So all we care about is the inventory being empty. So if I wanted to, what I could do is switch this out with bacon cheeseburgers. How is my beef situation? Good. How's my ham situation? Or pork, I guess. Pretty good. Let's get more cows going on here. This should help. Nice. Alright, so that's good. There was some kind of ritual, by the way. My mind is constantly getting distracted by 16 different things. Wasn't there a ritual that helped flowers grow faster? Faster at whatever you do. Damaging field, right? Let's see. Which one of these, like... Mineral, I know is not it. That one I know is not it. Yeah. That's the keeping light around thing. Octans. Tracks fish, right. Boots, maybe? Animals close to it seem to relax, but strangely age and shed some of their resources. Interesting. I wonder if that causes baby animals to grow faster. Alright, so just to be clear, this mana spreader is definitely way faster. So, like, this thing has pretty reliably had amount of mana in here. So, like, these two are feeding into this one. And this thing's emptying it way faster. So that's kind of cool. So what I'm probably going to do is upgrade more of these things. So I'm probably going to just remove this one altogether. As well as this one. I might keep both of them. We'll see. I want to try out the boots thing as well, though. I definitely want to try that ritual out. It looks like it makes animals drop their drops without killing them. But it might also help with other things. Like, I don't know. See, yeah, look. That's cool. So what are you guys up to over here? Like, you're doing your thing, or what? There you go. Nice. So we definitely want to do that. So let's get bacon cheeseburgers going in here, right? So what I'm going to do is also stock bacon cheeseburgers in this thing, right? So did you have any kind of whitelisting going on here? Yeah, so let's put bacon cheeseburgers in this, right? And you're also going to keep in stock 12 bacon cheeseburgers, which you should have no problem crafting. Right? I would think. Hey, that's cool. Good job. And then we're going to replace this dude with a bacon cheeseburger on the export bus, right? So you, and you. So that should be the last of the ham that goes in there, right? And then the next set should be steaks and bacon cheeseburger instead of ham and bacon cheeseburger. So, or ham and steak. So that should be cool. Nice. Sweet. So you did a good job, Gormalaeus. And then you're going to do the next one, I presume? Wow, you have a lot of eating to do there. Sweet. Alright, good deal. I like it. We'll just have to keep an eye on the timing a little bit, but I think the timing is going to be alright. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like it all around. Sweet. I might even swap these out to be Gaia mana spreaders, but we'll see. But that's going to allow this thing to run much faster now. Now, if I wanted to, I could also grab some blocks of coal here and have these guys running at the same time. Now, did I ever put that flower over here that prevents magneting? I forget, so I'm going to take my magnet off. But now I can have, like, both mana generators running at the same time, right? And that's kind of cool. And these guys never needed much more mana spreading capability. Like, these guys needed to be good ones. These guys didn't need to be that great. But that should be much more mana generation for us, which is good news. Which means I can make more in Terra Steel. Another thing I'd like to do is make a few more mana pools, if I may. So we're going to need more living wood, which we should have a bunch of over here. Because, yay for automation! Let's make 5 of them. And what I'm going to do is probably move this guy. I'm going to put this here. That'll just make that a little bit faster, FYI. And then what I want to have is more sparks. So let's get some sparks here. And I'm basically looking to have a larger pool of mana available to me. So what we're going to want is, let's get something that we have a ton of. This should work. Technically, I only need 4 of these, so. Cool. So what I'm going to do is have these guys all be here, and then I want to get a recessive spark upgrade. This thing, Mana Steel and Rune of Earth. Might have Rune of Earth? I do. Have Mana Steel and Pixie Dust. Whoops, I missed. Cool. So this guy is a spark augment that when placed on this spark will cause it to automatically distribute its mana to all nearby mana pools. Let's see. Boom. Ta-da! And you can see that he's emptying and they're all filling. Cool. So this basically just boosted our mana storage by a large amount. So that's probably all I'm going to work on right now. I want to have more mana storage, and I want to just give it time for that to fill up. So what we're going to basically have here now is a large amount of mana being generated and stored over here, like pretty much like a big mana battery. And that's pretty much going to chill. We're going to let that run for a bit and see how things go. But it should be good. Nice. I'm liking it. I'm liking everything about it. Yes, automation is working perfectly, by the way. It's not feeding the Gormalaeuses until this thing empties, so yeah, we're doing pretty good there. Alright, so that'll all run for a bit. Should we check out Boots while we're here? I'm kind of curious to see what it's like. Because we obviously have this thing going on, right? And this is working great. I'm just kind of curious, like, what Boots does and how it works. I'm assuming it causes animals to drop items. I don't know. Maybe we'll check out Boots a little bit later. So this thing's up and running now. What I might want to get into now is something that, surprisingly to me, y'all have been asking for. I was surprised to see this as a want here. Yeah. You guys want to see bees. That's what I'm hearing. That's the word on the street, as it were. So this is potency velocity. Why do I have an extra one of those? Oh, I probably had it on. I'll just stick you on there. Boom. It won't hurt. Or I could stick it on one of those, I guess. Yeah, because you don't really need it. Oh, that's right. I had it on the extra mana spreader that I put away. All right, you can just chill there then. Ha ha ha. Told you. Okay, so let's take a look at doing bees then, because you guys actually want to see that. I'm excited about that. You guys want to see bees? Let's see what we can do with bees. I want to get the basic foundation for bees. I'm going to make an attempt to automate bees as much as possible, but I don't know how much I can based on the mods we have. So what I do need to do is spend a little time playing with bees to figure out like how well we can automate them, right? So let's put away some things. Anything else I don't need right now? You can go away. You can go away. You guys can go away. Just keep my inventory nice and organized. So bees. Bees is a cool thing. Bees basically started out with forestry, and forestry had its own set of bees, and there's basically two types of bees. There's drones and princesses, right? So if you look at forestry, you'll notice that there's a ton of bee species, many of which added by other mods, like Benny's Extra Bees, right? And I think there's magic bees in here too somewhere. So we do have magic bees, but I think they fall under the forestry bee type. Maybe. So there's, yeah, there we go, forestry. And there's a bunch of bees as well. So more and more and more and more bees, right? So what do bees do? They produce resources. And there's literally like dozens of different types of bees. And long story short, they produce combs that can be centrifuged into a specific resource. So for example, this one can create feathers for us. So if we wanted more feathers, we could create a bee that produces feathers. If we wanted bees that produce red dye, we could do that. This is basically red dye, right? So there's Amped Princess. What does that one produce? That one also produces feathers. They don't all produce feathers, I promise. Mysterious Princess. That one produces these combs that produce magic wax and honey drops, right? So there's all kinds of different... There's Electrum Princess. Sweet. Oh, you produce... Wait, no, what? Electrum Princess? Has a chance to produce Electrum Nuggets. That's cool, right? So lots and lots and lots of bees. The main one we wanted to go after, though, was the one producing gas tears, because we said, hey, we need more gas tears. There's a couple options for producing gas tears in the pack. We could, capture a big ghast and auto-kill him. Or we could capture the mini-ghasts in Twilight Forest and set up a farm for them. But I've set up mob farms like 2 or 3 times throughout this series as it is. I wanted to do something different. So bees it is. So let's take a look at the bee breeding process. So first off, pretty much there's a lot of breeding that has to happen. So we're going to need some modest bees at some point. And then the other type we're going to probably want is cultivated. We're going to want that and eldritch, right? And eldritch comes from cultivated as well. Cultivated bees are pretty much your gateway to every other bee species for the most part. And you make those by breeding common bees with some other type of bee. And common bees come from breeding a couple different types of bees. Your typical ones that you go with are forest and meadows, but you can also do forest and modest, or you can do forest and tropical and forest wintry. These bees are all found in World Gen. So if you look in World Gen, you'll find that there are hives around based on the biome that you can find these bees in. So let's see what I found thus far for bees. So for drones, I already have a common drone. I have no idea where that came from, and I really am confused that that exists. But we'll take him out and we'll see what he is. We've got unusual, we've got some meadows. That's cool. We've got some steadfast, which are rare. You find those in dungeon loot chests, so probably pick that up from dungeon loot somewhere. Modest are found in desert biomes, typically. Yeah, modest hives are typically the desert biome ones. And rocky drones are cool. These guys are found underground in the world. Now, princesses are the other type of drone that we need to worry about. So we do have some other types of princesses. Ooh, we found some infernal ones. That's cool. You'll notice that princesses have an extra attribute, ignoble versus pristine. Long story short, pristine good, ignoble bad. It's not terrible, it's not the end of the world. What it means is that after that bee has lived for a certain period of time, she will probably die and not come back. And you'll see what that means in a little bit. So we've got a lot of good rocky princesses, which is cool. Our modists, we have one pristine modest, so that's cool. We've got a few meadows that are ignoble, and I try to avoid using ignoble if I can. And then we've got a pristine infernal, which is cool. So what I think I'd like to do, so we've got plenty of rockies, and we've got some modest. Can rockies combine to form commons? I don't think so. They can with forest. So rocky and modest would give us a common drone, technically. So that's a thing that we can keep in mind. I might want to grab a scoop though, or two, and go explore the world for a few minutes and maybe get us a few more. There's also other scoops that you can get. But I'd like to maybe explore the world a little bit and get a few more drone species types. So let's come back in a sec. I'll show you what hives look like more in depth, and we'll be right back. So here's an example of a hive. This is a magic bees hive. I can tell just by looking at it, kind of. They hurt when you try and, harvest them. So we got some sorceress drones. We got an ignoble one. That's fine. It's all right. I'm basically going to fly around. Here's a desert one. That's from regular old forestry. Hurts just a little bit. Cool. So basically, I'm going to fly around for a few minutes and collect a bunch of different types of bees. The ones from Magic Bees are pretty cool. They're good to have because you're going to need them to go through the Magic Bees line. Meadows and forestry bees as well. Try and get a few of those if you can too. And we'll be back after I've collected hopefully a few. Hey, there's a forestry one. No, it's a sorcery one. Yeah, curious hive from. Nice. Now, there is like a smoker or something like that you can get. I think this thing, bee smoker, calms wild bees. I mean, they don't hurt that much. But I think if you use that on the beehive, it would lessen the damage that you receive from harvesting them. Just so you know. But I'm just skipping that part because I'm lazy. So we'll be back in a sec after I harvest a few bee types. And we're back after doing a bunch of hunting. So now we should have a decent number of princesses. Got, quite a few meadows that are ignoble, but we did get one pristine, so that's cool at least. Yeah, like I said, try and use ignoble if you can. Got some sorceress, got some mystical, got some unusual. We'll go looking around some more if we need to. The good news is that once we get deep into bees and another mod called Gendistri, we can change attributes of bees a little bit easier, thanks to a really cool mod called Gendistri that makes life live a little bit better. So let's get started. Let's get a meadows drone and a forestry drone, because this is kind of like the best way to start with bees. There's obviously other ways you can go. There's definitely like a bunch of different ways you can go down this route, but this is the way that I'm choosing to start. What we're going to need is an apiary. Now, apiaries, I think, require impregnated casings, which require a little bit of seed oil. So we can get these guys. Now, there's also the industrial apiary from Gendistri. The industrial apiary requires a sturdy casing, which isn't too bad, bronze gears, pistons, glass, and a bee receptacle. So there's two different approaches we can go with here. The regular apiary from forestry will allow you to, follow like the vanilla forestry path of bees, which is, they're pretty slow, they take a long time, and there's a lot of randomization to it, and there's a lot of luck involved with bees at that point. For example, we're going to soon be breeding bees, and when we breed them, you combine a forest and a meadows, for example, and you have a 15% chance of getting a common bee out of that. So pretty low chance to get the bees produced. So basically, and there's a lot of waiting involved. If we go the Gendistri route, it requires power in terms of RF, and it's very machine-based, and it takes a lot of that luck out of it. I'm definitely going to be going the Gendistri route because while you may enjoy the waiting around for bees, I personally prefer the automation aspect of bees, so I want to make it a little bit more fun, so therefore we're going to do Gendistri route. So let's get into Gendistri a little bit and see what Gendistri adds for us. Now, if you've never played with bees, some of this may not make a whole lot of sense, but you will learn as you go through. So Gendistri adds a bunch of machines, right? One of them being the industrial apiary. So we're going to want, do you know how to make sturdy casings? Not yet. All right, so it's time for you to learn that one. And then back to Gendistri. You're going to want to know how to make this. You probably don't know how to make this. And that should be pretty much it, I think. Let's see. And we'll grab this guy. So can you make an industrial apiary for me now? Yay, you can. Nice. Yay, 2 of them. So industrial apiaries are basically powered apiaries that can do cool things that we're going to enjoy and appreciate very soon. There's a bunch of things we can put in this, but let's start with the basics for those who are watching that have maybe never played with the mod before. But there's like all this mutagenic stuff and genetic manipulation that we're going to get into, DNA extractor, genetic replicator, transposer, protein liquefier, stuff we'll take a look at later in the mod. To get started, what we're going to do is just play with the simple stuff, right? So let's go put these bees somewhere. Now, these bees happen to like a nice environment. So if we were to put them in a desert environment, for example, boop and boop, and let's maybe even get a wireless doohickey, ding, so that you're both powering up your internal buffers of power. Basically, the way bees work is you place a princess and a drone inside an apiary, and they will mate and become a queen. What's going to happen is, over time, that queen is going to produce resources and eventually die out. And when she dies, she will leave behind 1 princess and anywhere from 1 to 3 drones. So that's going to be cool. Now, what we're seeing here is it's too hot, too dry, and there are no flowers nearby. That makes this bee happy. This bee does not enjoy the terrible environment that we chose to place her in. So we're going to... Now, I understand that there's a lot of flowers nearby, but trust me, you'll understand what this is all about in a minute. We're going to go ahead and drop this bee into a biome that might be a little bit more suited to her needs. So if we pop her in there, now the only complaint she has is there are no flowers nearby. They do need vanilla, like either a daisy or a rose or something like that nearby, just to make them a little bit happy to flower with. Biomes with plenty of lavenders don't seem to be working, so by doing that, you should, in a moment here, realize that there's a flower nearby and be cool. And hello, sheep. Goodbye, sheep. You're standing in my way. Now, the forestry one is going to be the same. So they're going to mate and become a queen, and you still don't like the lack of flowers. Why? You don't like the flowers that I placed nearby a few. Let's try a poppy. I mean, I thought what we have there, the dandelion, would work, but... Oh, you're cool now. You're cool. No, you're good. You're still complaining about flowers, but it might just take you a minute to realize that, yeah, there's flowers. And you'll see, like, the bees are, you know, flowering and whatnot. Let's get a horn. What I might want to do, I think... I mean, they definitely used to do it. I love that. Just for the record, I love that. Now, they're probably complaining that there's no flowers nearby, by the way, but that's okay. You'll wake up to the fact that there are flowers nearby in a second. I think it'll create more flowers nearby. Pretty sure that's a thing that happens. Wow, there are just a lot of lavenders, aren't there? Just a bit. So you guys should wake up and be... Oh yeah, look, flowers. Hooray. Sometimes, if you want, you can take them out and put them back in, and that kind of makes them forcibly recheck for the flowers, but we'll give them a minute and see if they start behaving. But that's their only complaint right now. So you can see the temperature and the humidity information there. So basically, every time you make an apiary, and you place it in a biome, it will tell you the stats of that biome right up here. Current temperature is hot, and the humidity is arid. Guess what kind of bee likes that, though? Modest bees. Let's get a pristine stock of modest and we'll combine these two. And I'm pretty sure they like to have cactus nearby. So let's plant one of those as well. And there's items we can use shortly to measure, you know, what they want. Why are you continuing to say no flowers? There are flowers. I promise there are flowers. They're like right there. So you're happy. You're finding your cactus nearby and doing your thing. You guys might just take a minute. We'll see what happens in a minute here. There we go. A little time passed, and look at that. Cool. We're happy now. You can see that they're happy because you got the little bee particle effects. They're flowering the nearby flowers and doing their things. So over time, they will start to produce combs. Sweet. That is awesome. I will let them run for a few minutes here, and we'll check back in on them in a sec. Let's go get ready to process combs. So combs can be processed in the centrifuge from forestry, but it looks like there's a centrifugal separator, sweet, from thermal expansion. So I might want to look into that a little bit. So let's do that. Thermal expansion, centrifugal separator. We already have one of those, so that's cool. Let's debate on where we want to put this thing. So eventually I will probably want a bee house of some kind. And I will probably want the centrifugal separator to live in said bee house, among other things. So eventually we'll be able to affect those industrial apiaries to simulate other environments. So I will be able to move them close to my base and put them in any biome I want, eventually, with the Gendistri ones. Let's... Do I want to build a bee house? Like, that would be kind of cool, right? That would be, like, really kind of cool. That might be, like, my next decorative build, if you will. Like, trying to make a bee house that looks cool. That fits the whole pyramid theme thing. But for now, let's just take our centrifugal separator and hook it up to power and see how it works. I feel like that's probably a good idea. So, a little bit of redstone doohickeys, and we're good to go. Cool. Nice. So for now, you can just chill there, centrifugal separator. And I presume that the parched comb just goes in here? Okay, cool. That's not centrifugal separator, parched comb. You know what? You might have an augment in you that you don't... Yeah, that. Oops. Take that out of there. You can go away, and that's why the parched comb wasn't going in. Now we're talking. Sweet. Okay. Well, that's cool, isn't it? Let's get the reinforced signalum. We've got a resonant upgrade kit, so that's cool. I made that for something. I forget entirely what, but oh well. We can upgrade this to the top tier if we want. And we can even put augments in it. I don't know what augments it accepts, but at least the speed ones, right? One would expect. Were you for this dude, maybe? Magma Crucible? That's probably what I made you for. Resonant Upgrade Kit. We'll want another one of those. We'll let you go even faster now. Signalum and Resonant should be done any moment. Okay. So that guy is good to go. Let's go check on our bees and see what they're doing. So there's a few upgrades that we can put in these apiaries. There they are. Sweet. So you're cruising along. When this thing hits 100%, that's when the bee is going to die off. You know, which happens. You know, it's sad. It's a fact of life, though. Let's see what kind of Gendistri upgrades we can make to help things along a little bit, because there are quite a few upgrades available to us, and I'll probably want to get some automation going here with Gendistri, so let's get ready for that. So a lot of upgrades available. Plains emulation emulates a plains biome. So if we made a plains emulation upgrade, those two apiaries that had to sit in that like green area would no longer need to sit in that green area. So that's definitely a thing we will look into making. In fact, why don't we like teach that recipe now? So you need that. Plains emulation. You also need an upgrade frame, which is that. And you need environmental processor, which is that. Cool. And then you should be good to make a plains emulation biome. We could also make, you know, some other emulations, I think. Like there's a desert emulation and there's other things. Flowering upgrade, I think... Yeah, flowering and pollination. I think that makes flowers happen faster. Light upgrade, so bees like it to be daytime. If you put a light upgrade in there, it keeps it lit and makes them think it's daytime. So at night, they stop working, which we'll see in probably a few minutes here. So maybe we'll get the light upgrade going too in preparation for that. There's other upgrades we can do. So dryer, automation upgrade is cool. We'll probably want to take a look at this one. Humidifier, hell. So these affect like the temperature. So you can say like more humidity or, you know, more or less heat or more or less humidity. That's kind of a cool thing to do. Let's see. Cooler upgrade, lifespan upgrade makes your bees less, live for less time, which is something we're definitely going to want. And apparently you're going to want to learn how to make fermented spider eyes in order to make that. Cool. The other upgrades we might want, like this protects you from the rain. Ooh, that's cool. Genetic stabilizer. I didn't know that was a thing. Genetic decay minus 100%. That's cool. So that helps with your ignoble stock. I didn't know that was a thing. Neat. And there's all kinds of other things too. Some bees like to see a view of the sky, but if you want to put a roof over their head, you could put an open sky upgrade, which tricks them into thinking that the sky is above them. Cool. Production upgrade makes them produce more resources. We definitely want to learn how to make this. However, the production upgrade requires royal jelly, which we don't have access to yet because that is a bee product. Otherwise, we're pretty cool. Production upgrade, sweet. So let's go put all these bad boys in here. And then we should be able to request a couple things. So I wouldn't mind having a dozen of these. And the reason that is, oh, you're missing mushrooms. Cool. We should do something about mushroom production. Missing 3? Really? Really? All right, we're going to skip that one for now. We're going to do mushroom production next episode. We're going to do something with that. But what we will do is the light upgrades times 3. And that's probably it for now. Automation, I might want that. So if we pop out here, what we should find is our bees are unhappy right now because it's dark out. So you're actually kind of cool, but you guys are, no, we don't like the nighttime. Boo. So if we put a light upgrade in there, you're happy again. Cool, and they even go off a little bit of light to indicate that there's a light upgrade. So having light upgrades inside the industrial apiaries keeps the bees working during nighttime, which is good. I'd like to have the lifespan upgrades in there, but we don't have the mushrooms yet, so we're going to hold off on that. But we can maybe take a look at the automation upgrade. So you don't need a light upgrade because this bee apparently doesn't mind that it's dark out, so that's cool. Let's take some of our combs that you've produced thus far and make something else that's going to be useful for us. So let's get... I want to get 4 of you. Okay, so that you can process this nice and quickly. Sweet. Okay, the Eliezer. The Eliezer is this guy, portable Eliezer. Needs a diamond, 2 redstone, 4 tin, and 2 glass. 2 redstone, diamond. Not that glass, that glass. And a carpenter, which, did we ever make a carpenter? We may not have ever made a carpenter. I feel like a carpenter wouldn't be a terrible thing to make. Let's get a bunch of this. And then we can make a carpenter. We're going to want to put him somewhere useful to us. So that's the automation line. I don't know if we need to automate the carpenter. But what we can totally do is just pretty much stick him right here. He's going to need power, which he's going to get courtesy of this dude. He's also going to need water, which do we have? we have a thing nearby that we could run? Let's Forest Raven this up. Gonna get some cables. We're gonna get an export bus. We're gonna get a bucket of water. And let's do a thing. So we should have refined storage cabling around here somewhere we can tap into. That should work. So we can probably, let's tap into the back of this thing so that we don't affect this floor so bad, right? So then we're really only doing that. And then exporter. In fluid mode with water, should put water in this thing. And this is going to be used for crafting some stuff, so it's good to have that relatively automated. So then we can do the diamond, the 2 redstone, the 4 tin, and the 2 glass, and create ourselves a Eliezer. Sweet! Eliezer will help us analyze our bees and determine what attributes they have. And by doing so, we get good stuff. We basically learn about them, and it tells us more information. We already know some of the information, like they need flowers and they need daytime, and some of them do and some of them don't. This is going to tell us exactly, by looking at a bee, what it needs. Cool. So if we pop back to our bee area, whoosh. I'm like really bad about remembering where I put these things. So you're almost dead, and you guys are dead. Cool. Let's use our meadows bees as an example, right? You need honey to calm your bee in order to analyze them, but once you do that and you put your bee in there, it changes from unknown genome to telling you all kinds of information about it. And you can see extra information inside the bee Eliezer. So this is pristine stock. It's had 1 generation in captivity, and there's information about it. So lifespan is how long they live inside. So they have a shorter lifespan than some bees, but that's not the shortest that's available. They have a pretty slow production, the slowest available. So they produce very few combs. If we bump up the production attribute, they will produce more combs. Neat. Pollination is related to some things that we're not going to play with right now, which is forestry tree breeding. Flowers is what type of flowers need to be nearby. Some bees, like the rocky ones, need cobblestone or something like that. And the modest ones need cactus. Fertility is how many drones are left off afterwards. Territory is average and effect is none. So you'll notice that there's an active and an inactive. We'll talk about this a little bit more in the future, but basically there's 2 sets of traits, and you'll learn more about those as we go through. The second page of this tells you about the climate and humidity tolerance. So these guys like a nice normal climate and humidity, and they're not tolerant at all. So they don't like it to be any warmer or colder than normal. Some bees are okay with it being warmer, even if they expect it to be normal, right? Nocturnal, no, means they don't work at night. We learned that already. Oh yeah, and tolerant flyer and cave dwelling, this means they work during the rain, and this means they are okay with being in a cave, as in they can't see the sky. Cool. Produces honeycombs, possible mutations we haven't discovered yet, and then there's just more information down here. So your main 2 are the top 2, right? So now that we've analyzed these bees, we know about them. What I'm going to do is take a look at this one, and let's see what these bees are like, right? So we'll put our modest princess in here, and we'll learn that they like cacti, and they have slightly different attributes. Cool. Sweet. So this prefers a hot and arid environment, but it's okay to be a little warmer or colder, and it can be a little less humid than arid if we want it to be. So like hell, I think, would be a less humid environment. So neat. So let's put this dude in here. Now these bees, the drones stack, which is kind of a nice thing, so you can just throw them in there, but it'll only use 1, or at least it's only supposed to use 1, yeah, when it makes the queen. Cool. So I'm not going to bother analyzing these right now because we know about them, but what I am going to do is put the automation upgrade in, which is a pretty cool upgrade. What the automation upgrade does is, as soon as the queen dies and becomes a princess and drone, it will automatically mate the first available princess and drone together. So this is good for when you're doing things with like a species of drone that you're not trying to breed into a new species, right? We're doing modest and modest. We're only ever going to get modest drones. However, if we combined forest with meadows bees and drones, then we might have a little bit of a situation that we'd want to be careful with, right? We don't want to automate that because we want to be careful about which drones we breed. So probably next episode we'll get into bee breeding, and we're going to try and quickly get to the point where we can automate this. However, for now, I'm pretty sure it's the wrapping up point. Or it's well past the wrapping up point. So for now, Darryl20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We'll come back next time. Yes, we will be doing a little bit more stuff with bees, but we're going to rapidly get to the point where we can automate them and have a lot of fun manipulating their genetics and doing all kinds of cool stuff with them. So it won't be a lot of like waiting around, which is a lot of the behind the scenes. We're going to do our best to edit out the boring parts so that it'll be fun and automation. And we might see if we can do like some really serious business automation. But like I said, we'll see. For now, Darryl20 signing off. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Take it easy.